So my name is Teisha. I am originally from Chicago, but I have lived in several different states. More recently, I was living in Tennessee and I moved to Florida. I am a mother of two girls actually, and I was married for a little over 1 year shortly before the incident happened, but my husband suddenly passed away. And at the time of the incident, like immediately before, there were avenues of just life that just getting reacclimated to what my new normal looks like after my husband passed. One of which I'm a volunteer. And so being able to give back and help others really was helping me to cope with the loss of my husband, and also to just set an example for my daughter to be more resilient despite challenges. In this particular day, I planned to be home, but I was feeling emotionally heavy, just the absence of my mate. And so I decided to participate in my volunteer work. And honestly, I felt great. I felt full that morning. So this particular house that I was approaching, there was no signage, there was no fence, there was no indication that there was a dog, not even a dog leash. And so as I approached the door, I heard multiple dogs from inside of the house. And so immediately I started to turn around because I was not going to work that particular house just because of my hesitation with the dogs. But before I could walk away, the door opened and I just saw this huge face, like this animal lunging at me. And so I put my arm in front of my face, just instinctive reaction. And I felt the dog bite down. After that, it was just kind of pure chaos, to be honest with you. I just remember screaming violently for someone to help. In that moment, I just felt almost lethargic. I felt that way. And I think I was in shock too, because I didn't really realize what happened until I saw all the blood. And so I proceeded to have the individuals that I was with, they proceeded to take me to the hospital and ended up going to the trauma unit. I don't like for my arms to look like this. And there is a part of me that I feel unfortunately was taken from me, because in those instances, I didn't have a choice. Felt a little apprehensive about seeking legal action, to be honest with you. So initially I chose not to, just because I tried to empathize with her. I knew that I needed the financial support in some capacity, and also too, just because of everything that happened after the attack, the medical bills that I had were starting to pile up. Well, a friend of mine reached out and they gave me the number to Griffith Law. And so I called and I spoke with Jonathan, and just, it was the first time after losing my husband, and definitely after the incident, I felt hopeful. And just as broken as I was feeling, I feel like even that conversation that I had with Jonathan, it was the beginning of me putting the pieces of my life back together. And at the time, there was no judgment at all, but he made me feel seen and he made me feel heard. And so I'm one of those individuals. I pride myself on being pretty strong and try to be resilient. But those situations that I had to encounter, I literally felt out of control and it made me uncomfortable. So for Jonathan to validate my feelings, validate just my concern, he was very, he felt like an advocate for me. And I had done so much for myself. I finally felt like I could trust someone else to take care of that part of my life. It was perfect. I had absolutely no complaints. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe in just the sincerity and just the support, honestly. They communicated with me when I didn't even reach out. So it was just, I never had to wonder I never had to question anything. I was able to trust the support that I had. I received a card, just a thank you card, and it was one of the days, months later, it was a day where I felt heavy emotionally, and I received that card, and it was exactly what I needed just to get me through the moment of that day. So just the love and the consideration and the compassion that's extended even beyond the settlement. The settlement was phenomenal, more than I even anticipated. But what I appreciated was it made me whole. In spite of everything that has happened, I'm grateful that I'm still able to walk. I'm grateful that, my face is still intact. And honestly, I'm grateful for the relationships that I've built. And quite frankly, the fact that my daughter has been able to see me go through these situations and still not feel bitter by any means, not be angry or have any sort of resentment, to me, that is the greatest blessing that could have ever come from this situation. Griffith Law felt like an extended part of my family. So it was perfect. Thank you to the entire Griffith Law team. I know that I was able to write a review, but I didn't feel like that was enough, honestly. So, yeah, thank you for being there for me when no one else was. I appreciate that.